Namaste and welcome to this 10th session of spiritual aspects of Agnihotra. Last few weeks we have covered the Ishwar Stuti Prarthanopasana mantra. The last week we looked at the fifth mantra, namely Om Yah Pranato Nimishato Mahitvaik Dyaja. Let's take a look at the Ishwar Stuti Prarthanopasana mantras. I want to show you these mantras from the Maharishi Dayanand's Sanskar Vidhi. So the first one is Om Vishwani Dev Savita Duyitani Parasura. The second one Hiranyagarbha Samavatatage Bhutasya. Third one Om Ya Atmada Balada Yasya Vishwa Upasate. The fourth was Ya Pranato Nimishato Mahitvaik Dyaja Jagat. And last week we covered this, not the fourth, but the fifth one. Yena Dev Yuga Petvi Chadra Yena Swachtabitam. So this mentions about the sun, Dewlok, and the earth that gives us the support. And besides that, we are being assured that there is a Swahalok. So by way of meditation, I can succeed in Upasana, then I am in his lap, then I taste that Swaha, the absolute pleasure, so to say. And if I lead my life properly, then at the end of the life, when I die, then I am in his lap for permanent. That is called moksha, liberation, yena naka. And then we are told that it is not just the sun and the earth in the solar system. There are many other planets, and in between there is a space. All this is very definitely planned. Vimana means all the planets, including the earth, are in their prescribed trajectories. And the whole solar system is also moving around another center in the galaxies. And the galaxy is also moving around some super center, things like that. So all this is dynamic balancing. Now here I wanted to show you, before I move on to the sixth mantra slightly, namely this aspect that the earth and the sun was also mentioned in the second mantra, that he only gives us the support, he is supporting the sun and the earth, and thereby we get the support. So I want to just describe this sequence again. This is ab initio at the outset. We want to be away from all pain and suffering, and he is capable of doing that, taking that Savita Dev. He only has created or made the sun and the earth and the entire universe even before we come here and we are born. And then the third mantra was our self, the soul, that is Atma, is provided with the necessary assets, instrument of body and mind, so that it can execute its powers of knowledge, experience, and action. And if we are always in his shadow, then we will be in immortality, and the pleasure which is absolute pleasure. So he gives us the assets of body and mind. First he brings the sun and the earth, then he brings us into life, into the world, and assures us if we don't forget him, if we are always connected with him, then we will never taste pain and suffering. And then he says not only he gives us the assets of body and mind, he, through the non-voluntary forces called the prana and the nimishata, the short span forces. Pranic forces are non-stop and cyclic in nature. They are always there. But there are certain forces that function once in a while to create, when the body is too far away from the equilibrium, then it brings us back to the equilibrium condition. That is called alpapan or nimishata. And then we are told that due to this, the background forces, that is due to him only, that supreme being that was referred to as Savita Dev in the very first mantra, he ensures that I am able to use body and mind when I want to use it. So he ensures that by keeping the pranic forces functional in the background. And then last week we came to the fifth mantra where we discussed that by means of sun and the earth, he is giving us the support, and not that that is the only part of the universe. He himself is all pervading, and I can be with him any moment. Now, this sun and the earth, the reason I am making this quick review again is the sun and the earth and giving us the support was covered in the second mantra also. Hiranyagarbha, Sadadhaya Prithvim. Because the sun and the earth are very existent even before I come into the world. They have to be there so that we all and animals, birds can be brought into this world. Now then, why is this mentioned again? That is the question. That was not covered last time, and that is the aspect of the fifth mantra, very relevant aspect I want to discuss today before I move on to the sixth one. The fifth mantra, it's very important to understand that the fifth mantra is coming soon after the fourth one, where the life force was mentioned, the background forces, what we call as pranic forces. So prior to that, in the third mantra, we discussed the assets of body and mind in Ya Atmada Balada. So look at the third and fourth. The third mantra was Ya Atmada Balada Yasya Vishwa Upasate. That is talking about the assets of body and mind that only allow me to exercise the powers of myself, namely ability to know an event, ability to experience an event, and ability to act upon my surroundings through the assets of body and mind. And then in the fourth one, we discussed that these assets of body and mind are functioning because of the non-stop panic forces, non-voluntary forces. Yapranato nimishata. Now this is very interesting. The fifth mantra, though it talks about the sun and the earth again, there is a very important aspect here now, that how come my non-voluntary forces function? Of course, it is due to that Savita Dev Ishwar. He does it, but these non-voluntary forces require some inherent energy within it. Just like, say, my cardiac system, my pumping heart, it goes on moving, it causes blood circulation throughout the body, steam throughout the body domain. But as we know it, no pump will work unless there is some kind of energy provided to it by means of an engine or by means of an electrical motor. Something has to be there which runs that pump, is it not? And that is what is answered here. The our non-voluntary forces are working because of certain energy that is necessary for the system, and that is provided by food. So there is a statement in Shakpat Brahman, Anno Vai Prana. So for pranic forces to work, I must provide food to the system. If I don't eat any food, if I want to survive only on air and water, they are very vital, essential, but energy doesn't come from mere air and water. It has to be from food. And food is grown, vegetable, food grains, fruits, they are grown on the farming in the land, and that growth takes place due to the sunlight, is it not? So sunlight is the continuous source of energy that is converted by plants and trees via photosynthesis, and that gives rise to all kinds of food that we can consume. And when we eat this food and other animals and birds, then they are able to provide necessary energy to their body system so that the pranic forces can work. That is why now you will appreciate this sequence is very important from the fourth to the fifth. Fourth mentioned the pranic forces, and those pranic forces are made functional by our consumption of food, and that food is grown by virtue of photosynthesis that requires sunlight. So the sun and the earth don't give us just mere support. I am sitting on the earth ground. That is good. That is, every moment I am supported by the earth, and this earth is supported by the sun through a particular orbital trajectory, motion, and so on and so forth. But along with this mechanical support, I get another support from the earth in terms of the food, and that is actually coming from the sun by means of sunlight. So, sunlight, the energy, not only makes it possible for me to see the world around me, and of course, the heat is very important for us in all its aspect that we use it, and also indirectly via the photosynthesis, it gets converted into the food and food grains, and they are consumed by humans and animals, birds, and they get their necessary nourishment. And that nourishment is vital for the pranic function to continue. So pranic functions is obviously automated. Even in my deep sleep, they are working, but I have a duty to provide nourishment to the body domain so that the pranic forces work. So that is very important so that we are engaged in some sort of pursuits in our life. Otherwise, suppose food was also automated, was as easily available without any farming, just like air and water are available to us with great ease. We don't have to make much effort for the air and much less effort for water. We can just walk some distance, find a river or a lake or a well, and get some water. But for food, we are expected to do a lot of labor. And if that was not happening, then we can visualize we would be very lazy and there will be enormous problems in human society. Even these days, a few weeks, we are, due to this situation arising out of coronavirus, we are expected to stay home, and that can cause, on long-term basis, a lot of problems in relationships and a lot of conflict, etc. If people don't are not able to engage in their normal pursuits of life. And for a common man, you are working for your survival. A common man works so that he earns money, so that he can buy food, is it not? So this is very much is the Vedic philosophy. There is a very important, well-known mantra in Rig Veda, Tantum Tanvan Rajaso, and towards the end it says Manu Bhava Janaya Devyam Janam. That Mano Bhava, you have to be a good human being. But what it is saying at the outset, Tantum Tanvan Rajaso, meaning you must be engaged in some activity that is socially beneficial. That's why we have so many professions. There is kind of a division of labor. Some people are engaged in farming, some are in education, some are in law enforcement. There are all kinds of professions we have, and we must be engaged in it. Spend a bulk of our time in the such mundane activities, if you wish to call it, because they keep us engaged. And of course, if you are a noble person, superior, or you want to raise your stature, then you should also be interested in upasana and raise your stature towards devatva, so to say. So a balanced life is required. So it just gives you an idea that Vedic philosophy is very holistic, and all this is the nature's design is overall for our good, and we must understand it and be a part and parcel of this nature's design so as to make best use of our life. Okay, so this was one aspect of the fifth mantra, which I could not cover last time, that otherwise we have discussed at good length. I wanted to give this aspect, why this is coming at number 5 after number 4, particularly after the pranic forces, because the sun and the earth, actually the earth grows all kinds of food for us, but it is it is transforming the sunlight. So the energy is basically coming from the sun, and then it is stored in the food, so in terms of carbohydrate and other nutrients, and then we eat it, and then we get the nourishment. So that is why this makes a nice sequence from the 4th to the 5th. Let's go further. Now we are on the 6th mantra, namely Prajapate Natvadeta. But I will again like to recall, this I mentioned earlier also, the first 5 mantras that we have covered are relevant to all the species, because they also have body, mind. They also go through joy and pains of life, and they also have pranic domains, and they also need to consume food to provide nourishment. Of course, bulk of the animals are herbivores. They consume plant food direct, but there are some carnivores who eat the meat of the herbivores or its leftovers or whatever it is, and that gives them nourishment. So they are basically eating plant food only, but in a second order, indirectly, because that is again the nature's design. So the animal kingdom, if you go to a deep forest where humans are missing, then you will notice there is no environmental problems. The animals die, and dead animal, they are scavengers, so to say. So carnivores are more like scavengers. They just keep the balance, so that because they don't have hospitals, they don't have cremation procedures, etc. But there is a natural mechanism that that is the balanced structure in terms of herbivores and carnivores. We are, of course, herbivores, and this I like to say on many occasions. I've written a few books also on this. So, but just because it's it's coming, it won't be out of the way for me to make a couple of remarks because there is a lot of misunderstanding about it. So, what I want to say is, by nature's design, we are herbivores. It is very simple. We don't have to be carry any prejudice or any bias. It's very straightforward because we are not that natural. So the best thing to understand the nature's design is through the eyes of the animals who are natural. And of course, they have very strong survival instinct, isn't it? Animals have very good survival instinct. Event like, say, an earthquake or tsunami or such events, or lightning or whatever you call it, more human beings die than animals because animals have a better survival instinct, so they get away from such things in a short time interval. They have a sense of feeling that something is going to happen, and then they run away from it. We don't have naturally that strong survival instinct. This survival instinct is very important for animals because every moment they are under the fear in a wild setting, in a wild forest. Every herbivore animal is always looking around for some predator and trying to save its life. So they have to have a very strong survival instinct. The reason I mention it, say, a zebra, a deer, or wild animal, or even a non-wild animal, say cattle, sheep, and goat, or whatever it is, they all have a strong survival instinct, and they will never go to a predator animal, a kind of lion, tiger, cheetah, leopard, etc., who can kill them as a prey and consume their meat, isn't it? You don't expect a deer to walk to a lion or a cow or ox. Suppose it has somehow, and there are wild cows, uh, the bison and all that. You don't expect them to walk to a lion or tiger because herbivore animals know it. Who is herbivore and who is carnivore? Is it not? Because of their strong survival instinct. And that being the case, the observation I want to make is These animals, namely the herbivores, are willing to walk to a human being. They can come to me if I make some friendly gesture, is it not? Indeed, cattle, sheep, goat are willing to live with me. The fact that they are willing to come to me, live with me, in their eyes, I am a herbivore. If I was a carnivore, they wouldn't come to me. So this is a very strong natural argument that we human beings are herbivore. We are not that natural now to know our own self, is it not? And that is why we are so much biased. We are not even aware whether we should be eating this kind of a food or that kind of a food. So, in that event, let's see what the animals consider us. If they consider us herbivore, we are herbivore because they are very natural, is it not? So, or let's look at the other side of the same coin. A carnivore, for example, a lion or tiger will eat only herbivores in normal circumstances. And we are also afraid of a lion or tiger because they might kill us. So, in the eyes of the carnivores, I am a herbivore, is it not? So, both in the eyes of herbivores, such as a cattle, deer, sheep, and goat, I am a herbivore. And so is true that in the eyes of a carnivore like a lion or tiger, I am a herbivore. That's why, if it comes to that, they can eat a human being, kill it, and eat it. Though normally they don't do it, but because we don't live in wild areas. But if it comes to that, yes. So I was making a remark that these 5 mantras that we have discussed are common to both the humans and all other living species. Now we are entering into the sixth mantra, Om Prajapate. That is specifically for us, and this is where let's look at this mantra as listed in Sanskar Vidhi by Maharishi Dayanand. So it goes like Om Prajapate Natvadeta Vishwajatani Pajita Babhuva Yatkamaste Juhumastanno Astu Vayam Syama Patayo Rainam. Up till now, we had last 4 mantras where the last quarter was Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidyam. Now we are entering into a different sequence of it. Now, this is, let me read it, the paragraph, following paragraph. Maharishi Dayanand gives what is called Padarth, the word meaning, and that it is put in such a manner that it makes a sentence also. He says, Hey Prajapate, सब प्रजा के स्वामी परमात्मा त्वत आपसे अन्य भिन्न दूसरा कोई ता उन एतानी इन विश्वा सब जातानी उत्पन्न हुए जड़ चेतनादिकों को न नहीं पई बभूव तिरस्कार करता अर्थात आप सर्वोपरि हैं। यत कामा जिस पदार्थ की कामना वाले हम लोग ते आपका जुहुमा आश्रय लेवें और वांछा कहें तत् उसकी कामना न हमारी सिद्ध अस्तु होवे जिससे वयम हम लोग रयीणाम धन ऐश्वर्यों के पतयः स्वामी श्याम होवें. As has been my practice, I have in the past read out the meaning and second paragraph of Bhavat from Maharishi Dayanand's commentary on the Vedas. All the previous mantras were, as you know it, he wrote the commentary of the entire Yajurveda, but Rigveda was covered only in part, up to about 7th mandal, while this particular mantra is in the 10th mandal. So we don't quite have his Vedic, his this mantra covered by him in his commentary on the Vedas, but from a different scholar, this is available to me. So I am reading out from that book. Again, his first paragraph is Prajapate, he Praja ke Swamin, Tvat अन्य आपसे भिन्न कोई एता इन ता उन विश्वा समस्त जातानि उत्पन्न हुए पदार्थों पर न नहीं पई बभूव अत्यक्ष होता है. यत कामा जिस कामना वाले हम ते तेयी जुहुम उपासना कहें तत् वह न हमें अस्तु मिले. वयम हम रयीणाम धनों के पतय स्वामी श्याम होवें. भावार्थ, हे प्रजा के स्वामिन, तुझसे भिन्न कोई अन्य इस समस्त विश्व के पदार्थों का अध्यक्ष नहीं है. तू ही इनका अध्यक्ष है. जिस वस्तु की कामना वाले हम आपकी उपासना करते हैं वह हमें प्राप्त हो. आपकी कृपा से हम धनों के स्वामी बने. So we have seen it. This particular author has also brought the term upasana in this context by translating the term juhumaha, being with him. And Maharishi Dayananda has also translated juhuma as ashar leve, as if I come in your shadow, as if I come in your lap. Both are the meaning are the same. So let's look at this in my own manner. Prajapate natvadeta nyanyo vishwajata nipayita babhu yat kamasti juhumastannu astu vayam syama patayo rayinam. So Prajapate is the term for that supreme being. Praja is all his children. Ja is to, as we have discussed previously in the context of the word Jagat, Ja is usually for Janmade. So he gives birth to us. Pra is a prefix, prakashen. If say something good, something superior, then it is pra. So Praja, Ja is as such for all human beings, animals, birds, insects, all kinds of species are born by him only. But when there is a pra here, then you can say it is specifically to human beings because human beings are slightly having higher stature from his point of view, from the point of view that he gives us an opportunity. But it does not automatically mean that every human being is better than an animal. There are human beings who may go down and become worse than an animal. But the potential that we have as a human being is tremendous, is immense potential that we can rise above. There is no limit. So from that point of view, human beings are at a higher pedestal, have higher potentials. Whether we use it in the right direction or we use it in the wrong direction, that is an individual's business. That is his choice. But from Paramatma's design point of view, we are superior beings because we have better assets, in particular our discriminating ability of buddhi. So that is, Praja is referring specific to human beings. And I will mention a few more aspects in the second line. Why I say that this mantra is specifically for human beings and not for any other species. So let's move on. Praja is for all the human beings, and Pati means the protector. So Rakshak, like we have Rashtrapati, who is the protect commander in chief of the country. So Pati usually is Palanayo. Pita is also from the same root. So Prajapate, he gives us birth, Praja, that we are his Praja, but he is also our protector, like a mother, father, and a noble king, whoever all this is, they are Prajapati, so to say. In a smaller sense, but in an infinite sense, that supreme being is our Prajapati, and this is being addressed to him. So this is Prajapati. Na is ours for all of us. This is in plural. Usually in the Ved mantras, whenever we seek something positive, it is in plural, it is not in singular. So Prajapate na tvad etani anyo. You are the one and there is nobody else other than you. Anya means no, other than you, and there is nobody else. Who is Vishwa Jatani? Vishwa is all that entire universe. Jatani again, that joy is there. All that is given birth. So this is referring to the entire universe, the material world as well as the world of us, we, the human beings, animals, birds, all the species, the sentient and insentient, both the worlds. That is Vishwajatani. Payita Babhuva. Babhuva is again in that past tense, which has been coming very often, like Sadadhar. This is called Parokshe Lit. This is deep in past. So this is happening not just for me, not just for today's world. This has been happening since time immemorial. That you have been protecting to all the entire universe that you give birth, and there is nobody else, no other force that can take care of the material world and the entire animal kingdom, human society, and all that. So, this is absolutely your prerogative and your authority. Yat kamaste juma tanno astu. This is the very important part of this mantra. Yat is that. Kama is all that we desire. The word calm has several connotation, and sometimes there is a misunderstanding. Calm is also an impurity in our mind when we say kam vasna. That is lust, which is an undesirable thing. Love is good, but lust is bad. So that is an undesirable thing. But the word kam is also in dharma, arth, kama, moksha. Here it is, dharma is the righteous conduct. Arth is by righteous conduct, you earn some wealth. And here the word kam is to enjoy the wealth. Just like we just now talked about engaging in a profession to earn some money and to buy food for our survival. If I buy food, that is my wealth. But that is not enough. I must eat it. If I don't eat it, then there is no good. So the wealth has to be enjoyed. That is for my good. I should not just build a house, but I should live in it. Is it not? I should not just buy the clothes, I should put them on. I have a jacket and it's too cold outside. I should put it on. So, to make good use of my wealth is calm here, is it not? So, calm is calm vasana, lust also. Calm is proper utilization of the wealth that I have earned in a proper manner, as it is found in dharma, arth, kama, moksha. And if I do proper utilization, then I will develop detachment also, vairagya also. And that will only lead to moksha, is it not? If I just go on overindulgence, that is not going to let me go to the moksha. So dharma, arth, kam, here kam is enjoying the wealth in a very balanced manner for your overall good, in a sensible manner. Now the word calm in this particular mantra is the desires, kamana, something I don't have and I want to gain that. That is very important in the human pursuits, isn't it? Because we are dynamic. A bird is making a nest. A particular bird makes its nest exactly the same manner its forefathers it made in 300 years ago, thousands of years ago. They made it in the same manner. But we build houses, we build better and better houses. There is a evolutionary growth, development in human pursuits, is it not? So we are not static. We have to move forward. And as we move forward, the scientific, technological advancement and all that, that is what differentiates us from the animals. So as I said, the sixth mantra is exclusively for human beings on this particular aspect, that we are encouraged to think high, to think big, to think beyond, and thereby come up with wonderful ideas from our mind and using our two wonderful hands. So we have buddhi that animals don't have, discriminatory ability to move in the knowledge dimension. And when we have a fantastic idea, I realize that idea, I actualize the idea, and construct that thing, something into a visible project, visible instrument, visible gadget. And then I have two wonderful hands. So not only I have buddhi in my mind domain, I have hands in my body domain, exclusive ownership of human beings. And then we are encouraged to come up with ideas, yat kamaste. And all these are realized by grace of that Supreme Being. He only. The trees have the wood, but only human beings make use of the wood to build a furniture, desk and chair, and so on and so forth, is it not? But not only that, there is something very important. and that we are all proud of, the very first invention of human beings, namely ability to make fire, generate fire, Agni, is it not? So that's what we do in Agnihotra. We are discussing all this as a preface to Agnihotra. So Suyo Jyoti Jyoti Swaha in the morning, and then Agni Jyoti Jyoti Agni Swaha in the evening. So in the daytime, we benefit from the sunlight that animals also benefit from. But as it becomes dark, they go into darkness. But human beings said that, no, we want to make some small lights. They, in the image of the sun, they made some tiny sources of light. They learned from the natural forces that if I have two sticks of wood and I create mechanical friction, I rub one against another, then I will generate a spark. And that spark I can hold by burning something which is dry stuff, dry grass. That's how our ancestors did it. So they did not give up. They did not just accept the darkness. Okay, throughout the evening, let's live in the dark. They thought about it. They saw the spark coming in the clouds when two clouds meet and cause a friction. They saw the lightning. And then they, getting some hint from the Ved mantras, they created friction force between two wood sticks, irony. And they saw sometimes there is a natural fire in forest. How does it happen? So they created the fire. And now, of course, human beings have advanced greatly. We have internal combustion engines, steam engines we have all sorts of things where the fire is utilized as per our wish. And we convert it into mechanical power. And that makes our life comfortable. But of course, if we do it, overdo it, then we are harming the environment and climate. So all this has to be done in a proper, balanced manner. So yat kamaste juhu mastanno astu is a door wide open for human beings to learn from all the natural sciences. That is a gift from the Ishwar, and incorporate them in their day-to-day life, create new and new wealth, starting from farming to all kinds of things. Besides the fire, we have our invention we are very proud of is that of wheel. So fire is more like our knowledge. Wheel gives us into our skill and action. It represents our dynamism and movement. And probably both have something to do with the sun. Sun is a fireball and looks like a wheel, keeps on moving from morning to the evening. So whatever is it, whatever human beings have made, everything is in the image of that Supreme Being's creation. Vishwajata Nipayita Bapu. So in the image of the sun, we make Agni. In the image of the sun, we make the wheel. And in the image of everything that we see, we have made so many other things in the universe. That is our continuous advancement. But the purpose of these mantras, this particular mantra, is trying to tell us that the earth is a level field wide open. It's a playground for all of us. We can enjoy all the bounties of the earth and even underneath by means of mining. We can get coal, we can get iron, we can get gold, all sorts of things. So the universe is filled with everything that we can imagine. And there are resources to realize any dream of any human being, isn't it? That's what is reflected by Yat Kamaste Juhumastanno Astu Vaya. And if we do it in a proper, balanced manner, then it is good for us. If we overdo it, if we do it wrong, if we use all these advancements to harm others, then of course we can do a lot of bad also. So that is where we have to be very judicious in our choices. Let's come to the last quarter of it. Vayam Syama Patayo. Vayam is we all. Syam become Patayo, the owner of Rainam, all the wealth. It's not just the material wealth. From the surroundings, we gain a lot of knowledge also. Newton saw the apple falling and got a flash of new idea, gravitational force due to the earth. It is pulling everything towards its center. Archimedes is just entering into a water pool for a bath. Suddenly he noticed there is a force that is pushing him up. His feet wants to go down, but he felt there is a force that is pushing it up in the opposite direction. He felt his foot is becoming lighter. So he characterized it as buoyancy force. So we observe in the nature what all is happening, where all the natural laws are hidden, and we try to explore them, we try to discover them. So this is all his bounties. We obtain it one after another with our great effort. So Vayam Syam Patayo Vainam. The wealth is not only the material wealth in terms of food, in terms of gold and houses and other gadgets and equipments. It is also the wealth of the knowledge. That is very important for all of us. That's why we cherish knowledge a lot. A library is very important in the human society. And we want to pass that on to our next generation. Very significant observation here in the fourth quarter is Vayam, we all. So as I mentioned earlier, in the Vedic terminology, whenever we desire something good, it is always for we and not for just I. So when you have this idea, then there is equitability, good distribution. When you think of just me alone, that is not the Vedic concept. So Vedic concept is always to think in a broader sense, how can something be good for all? How can the farming benefit everybody? How can this new knowledge idea benefit everybody? And indeed, we want this Vedic knowledge also to benefit everybody. So today, I think we can conclude the sixth mantra. Here we are specifically moving towards human beings. Seemingly, this is talking more about material wealth and those kind of advancement. But in the next mantra, Sano Bandhu Janita, we will be reminded that as we live in this beautiful world as a playground and enjoy our life, we should stay connected with him. He is our Bandhu, he is our closest. So that we'll discuss next week. And it has been a very nice conversation about Ishwar Stuti Pratmopasna. We have covered the first 6 mantras. And now two more, Sono Bandhu Janita. We are reminded that as we live in this world, we shouldn't forget him. He only sent us, like as a mother or father, we send our child to the university, take care of all his needs, but we wish he stays connected with us. In the same manner, he is asking us, I have sent you here for 100 years to enjoy the life in the world, but don't forget me. Stay connected with me. And that we will discuss next week. Thank you very much for your attention.